All right, so this is the latest piece. Just finished this up. This is a wicked sculpted bishop quarter scale from the Patreon group Wicked. This is really kind of an assembly video for my client. I was doing work in progress videos and I kind of stopped because this thing kicked my ass and I just needed to get it done. Took way longer than I anticipated. So I'm going to put it together and then we'll talk about what took so long. So the tricky part is getting Bishop on the base because I rekeyed his bottom foot here, so it's a really, really tight fit. And you've got to kind of fish his foot underneath this part here. And I glued this part on because this supports a big tentacle right here. And if I didn't glue it on, it'd be like kind of wobbly. So that's been glued on. I actually see a little touch up there I got to do. A little flat spray. See the glossy spot. So let me show you how you have to get them on. It's tricky. So I already told my client this will go paint. So you got to take his right foot and you've got to kind of lean him forward a little bit. So you got to get him, you got to kind of lean this forward, lean him forward, fish it underneath that tentacle, and then rotate him a little bit and get him into kind of this position. Oh, take that back. Got to rewind. That was going on too easily. You got to put on a tentacle first. Right, rewind. The first thing you got to do is you got to put on this tentacle with the screw on it. So this goes in here. You got to kind of wrap it around this rock, rotate it down, and there's 2 pins in there. And once it's lined up, give it a good push down. They'll seat very nicely. And there's a magnet. It really doesn't need it, but I put a magnet down here, so it just kind of helps keep that in place. Okay, now it's a tight fit because we got to wrap his foot into that crevice and up into that key up there. So again, you got to take this, watch, just be aware of the surroundings. Okay, kind of fish him in here. And then you gotta, I did this earlier. Okay, gotta kind of watch that tentacle a little bit. Okay. That boot's going to rub. There's no way around it. You got to kind of fish it underneath that tentacle and rotate him up. Now, it's not, his foot's not going to sit down yet. You're going to have to give it a, kind of just work it in that key. And there's a little bit of flex in his leg. You can pull this leg forward to get it down in that key. Once that foot is locked in, now you're going to take this foot and it's not going to want to, it feels like it's not going to go and just give it a little wiggle and a push and it locks, slides in. All the paint around that bottom part of that boot is going to scuff off. So I'll touch it up before I send it to you, but just be aware. Okay, so now he's on the base. The rest is pretty straightforward. Let me zoom out here a little bit. The colors look really, really good. So the next piece you want to put on is going to be this big guy right here. This big tentacle. So there's a pin here that goes into this key right here. And this is going to wrap around his leg. And you're going to rotate it. And just slide it in. And it'll be a good fit. And just give it a little push and it'll go down in there. It fits just right. Okay? Just like that. Okay? The next part you're going to want to do is the next tentacle. So before you put this part in here, you want to put this part together here. Okay, so you want to put this tentacle in up here, and it fits. It's a pretty tight fit. Okay, so it's going to go in. You know you have it in the right way because of the way these kind of interlock. And also when you put it in, it should sit pretty flat. It's a really tight fit. I wonder if I should try to loosen it up a little bit somehow. The pin probably doesn't need to be that long. I could probably loosen it up. So anyway, it goes in like that. And now this part is going to go in this pin that's down here. I sure hope this ship's okay. So this is going to come in here. And Again, he's gonna kind of, actually I may have that in there wrong. Hold on. May have that in there wrong. No, that's right. Okay, there we go. It wraps kind of around his leg there. Oh, there we go. No. Even though I've done this a few times, it takes me a few times to figure it out. Let me go in. I should go in like this. Well, there it goes. So it should look like it's kind of grabbing his rear end by the time you're done. You just kind of have to work with it. Be careful with these because these are 3D printed parts, and there's not as much flex as if it was a traditionally resin casted piece. So they're a little more brittle. Okay, just letting you know. Okay, once that's done, the last piece on the base. Actually, that's this is the last part right here, and this is going to key down in here like this. Now, just give it a push. Don't force it again. I just kind of do it like that, okay? Now, there's a seam here, and the flames, once it's in there, it's not that noticeable. So there's the base all put together, okay? Okay, now you have the head. Obviously, it goes here in the neck. There's a little magnet in there. Fits in there perfectly. Then you got the flaming fist, which has a huge 1/2-inch magnet. So this is going to want to pull in pretty tight, so just be careful. It's going to want to pull that in pretty good. Now when you pull that out, if you want to take it apart, hold on to the body and give it a pull because it's a really tight, it's a really strong pull. And now you have your weapon of choice. Oh, one more thing. On the back we have his holstered gun, which comes in here as the key and a pin. And when this is inserted, the hair should wrap around this holster. I re-puttied the hair and re-sculpted it to fit around that holster. It wasn't quite meeting up before. This is the first time I've had it all together after paint, so it looks really good. And then you have your two choices of gun. You have the big ass rifle. I'm actually going to sand the paint off of this. I think I am. Let's see. Now when you do this, hold on to the arm and give it a little push. And don't force it in all the way. You got that, okay? Or you got the big 1-pound gun. Again, hold on to the statue and give a little wiggle as you separate the pieces. It's a tight fit. Okay, and the paint's going to rub on that, obviously. I tend to like this gun. I think it's cool. It's just crazy massive and kind of overkill. Now, for whatever reason, these aren't going in as far as they did when I first keyed them, but it looks good. Okay. Again, don't force the guns in. They only go in so far. But there he is. Quarter scale bishop. Sculpt is my Wicked. I don't know. I think I really have to add up the hours. Paint alone I've got, let's see what I put in yesterday. 11 hours yesterday. 11 hours Monday. 11 hours Friday. 33 hours. 40. I've got 45 hours probably just in paint. And then building it took another like 30 hours, 35. So this is like a 70, 75 hour project, quarter scale, and it's not perfect. It looks great, but a lot of the parts were printed and clear, and you can't see the support marks until you put paint on it. But once it's all together, it looks great. I think my clients are going to love it. But I will not be doing another one of these in quarter scale if there's any clear parts. I just won't do it. Because I can't see to clean them up. It's just, and then once you paint it, it's too late. So anyway, he looks really good. I'm happy with him. He's a big piece. He's been filled solid from the, oh man, it's got a big old fingerprint on there. Hopefully that comes off. The thing about yellow is that it's a bitch to keep clean. It takes fingerprints really easily. So I should put some gloves on. I just washed my hands, but I may have touched something that had pigments on it or something. But I'm going to take pictures of this guy tonight. And hopefully my clients like him. He's going to be a pain to ship. Not looking forward to shipping him. So, yeah, I have work in progress videos on this. I don't know if I'm going to upload it because I kind of got to the point where I just stopped recording. Because, again, it was just taking me so long to do anything. I did some live broadcast on this guy. But a lot of it, I don't have recording of. I just, when I get to a project where it kicks my butt and I just need to really put my head down and work, I don't record because it just slows me down mentally and physically. So anyway, here we go. Let's see how big this guy is. From the bottom to the top. It's a guess. I can't get the tape right next to him. He's about, oh my gosh. Top of his fist is the tallest part, about 25.5 inches tall. So a pretty big piece, height-wise. Width-wise, you have to do from the gun to the fist. About 20 inches. Depth, oh, I don't know. Let's say about 16 inches, somewhere in there. Just a rough estimate. But there he's done, thank God. Now he's got to figure out how to pack this guy and ship him without him getting destroyed. He should ship well. It's got to take care of packing the tentacles and things. But yeah, very challenging piece. In the end, I'm happy with how he looks. Bring my exposure down a little bit because he's looking a little blown out. But yeah, he looks cool. Great. That's a great sculpt. And once again, these 3D pieces are awesome for printing. They suck for painting because this base is a nightmare to paint. You just can't get, there are spots you just can't get paint to. I mean, there's areas in here there's no paint on because you just can't get a brush to it, and an airbrush can't get to it. So yeah, it's great for sculpting and 3D printing, but to paint it, it's a major pain in the ass. The rocks I kept pretty natural. There's some warm tones and some little yellows in here and there. All the metal parts we just did kind of a black with a dry brush on it with some steel and chrome. Get that pretty simple. The flames, it's actually a translucent purple with pink highlights on top. So as you spin this, it does kind of have some luminance in it. It's not completely transparent, and thank God he opted not to have the flames glossed, because if he did that, I'd have to gloss all the flames, let that cure, and then go hand paint a matte finish on everything else. And it's just a nightmare to get paint in all these nooks and crannies. But cool piece. One of the parts that took the longest was masking for the yellow. It took me 11 hours on Friday just putting masking tape on to spray to get ready for the yellow. So 11 hours to put the tape on and to prime it, and I didn't paint the yellow till Monday. And that took almost all day to paint the yellow because all the shading took like 3.5 hours. And while I did that, I did some other things. I worked on the flames and things. And then yesterday was all about painting all the metallic details on the belt buckles, all the X-Men logos everywhere, the scarf, touching up the blue. I did the guns. I just did some dry brushing on the guns. I kind of mixed up a custom dark metallic and then dry brush the guns. I'm going to see if I can get these hands to fit. These fit all the way when I first did this. Now they're not fitting, so I'm not sure what's going on. It could just be paint buildup. But I rekeyed these so these would fit all the way. So now I got to mess with that, see if I can fit better. Yeah, so the guns are pretty simple, just a dark metallic with some dry brushing. The flaming fist, again, if this was like a traditionally casted piece, the fist part would be one part and the arm would be a second part, and they would key together, because painting the skin tones is nearly impossible. Like you can't get skin tone paint all the way down the arm. You just can't. I tried with a brush. I tried with an airbrush, and luckily you can't see it, but it's just frustrating. You just can't get paint in some areas. Skin tones are really good. I'm really happy with this. I don't do a lot of African American or black character, so I just kind of used the browns I had and some red washes and stuff to give it some fleshiness. It turned out great. But yeah, there you go. Bishop from Wicked, quarter scale. Thank God he's done. Maybe I'll upload the work in progress that I do have later. I don't know, but here he is for now. Thanks for taking a look, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.